Your body's talking to you, and that is your precious God's beautiful body. We want to take care of this thing.
How important is diet to our overall health?
Do you want to burn fat? Do you want to build muscle? What do you want to do? We can do both.
It's really about building muscle that will keep you burning fat even while you're sleeping.
If you overtrain, you're going to disrupt the gut because it's too stressful and it leads to leaky gut. What's behind all this push about plant-based? I'm sorry, but is it working? No. 75% of the population is obese or overweight. Is it working? No, it's not.
They put chemicals into the foods that make us desire them more.
Muscle's sexy. Slim is not sexy. Muscle tone is sexy. That's 1 out of 3.
Do you mind sharing the other 2?
We're waiting for you to ask.
Welcome, Rheece and Michelle. I am so excited. This is my first interview, like I said, having 2 guests on at the same time. So this is really special. Please share with us what it is that you do and why it's important and what you love most about it.
What do we do, Rheece? You want to take it?
Our $1 million message, Jessica, and your audience is we help men and women 35 to 75 lose 20 pounds or more in 90 days or less without giving up their favorite food or wine and keeping it off for life. And what we find is that once we have people as clients, we invariably bump into a bunch of other health challenges that we help them with as well.
35 to 75. I imagine maybe there are some differences in your program depending on if they are at the latter end of that or the beginning.
That's a great question. So yes, and I actually just had some clients yesterday, the mom and the daughter, completely different. And so the mom is in menopause, the daughter is in like full, like she's 25, so she's at her prime that way, menopausal against, the menstrual cycle. So they are different, like similar, but yet different. Yes, there's different approaches. And then again, also like, what is your exact goal? So we tailor the program to the exact health goal for sure. There are differences. Yeah. It's very personalized.
Oh, that's great. And just to point out to people who are maybe not seeing the video version, you both are in extraordinary shape. I mean, it's very, very rare that you cross paths with anybody that is in as good of physical shape as you are. So that's incredibly impressive all on its own. What is the most common reason diets fail for people over the age of 45?
Well, I think that they're following the shiny object diet and they're not following what's actually meant for them. That's the number one is, find someone who can help you discover your best diet for your best goal and make it personalized. Because we need to now get into personalized nutrition. And the reason for that, for a number of reasons, I was just, again, speaking of this yesterday with my clients, is it's not the same world as it was 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we were moving, we were eating real foods. We didn't have the amount of stress. And so we were basically fit and healthy. But now things have turned around, especially after the pandemic. And there's diets flying around everywhere. There's fast food flying around everywhere, which is quick and easy, and we're stressed. So we need to turn things around. This is like a new world. So we need to adapt.
And how do we adapt?
Well, you need to, first of all, find out what's going on in your body. So where is my body asking for help? So every signs and symptoms that the body is expressing, as in like maybe gas, bloating, maybe insomnia, aches and pains, like these are all messages from your body saying, help me, help me. Let me talk about a little bit about hormones. Like menstrual cycle issues, or maybe flooding would be one example.
And flooding?
Like flooding as in like heavy periods would be flooding.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're menstruating and you have heavy periods, and then quite often you go, well, something's wrong with me. Well, really, we need to find out, like, the body's asking you for help and it's giving you a sign. And so, going to a doctor and, having these interventions when not dealing with the root cause actually sets you back. And so when it comes to these kind of things, we need to think about things like your liver. which is the main organ of detoxification, is very, very important for good menstrual health. And if we don't clear the liver and work on that, then you're wondering why you're not where you are, because really it's the liver.
And
So
then
that would be one example.
other challenges for women that they bump into are ovarian cysts or uterine fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS. So we work with all that as well.
And so with those kind of things, you wonder, like, why am I growing these pockets of things? The reason why they're growing them is because their body is actually toxic, and it's pulling the toxins into a capsule, so it's not flooding the body, and that's the way the body protects itself. And so again, we think, oh, I don't want to see that. This is kind of what's going on. And then you go to the doctor, they cut it out. But actually the issue is your body is toxic. And that's very common, the toxicity. That's what I mean by a new world. It's very, very, it's a different world than it was 50 years ago.
I was just listening to something the other day about the rise of PCOS and just how common it's actually becoming. I forget the statistics on it, but I had no idea. I mean, I had ovarian cysts when I was younger, and I remember having one burst, and I couldn't even walk. My parents had to carry me and put me in the car and drive me to the hospital. I didn't know what was going on. And that was just from an ovarian cyst bursting.
Yeah. And so when that happens, it's not like by chance. There's something going on in the body, and the body's trying to talk to you. And so I call myself like the body whisperer. It's like I go in, I do my, I collect the information, and then I go, oh, actually it's your liver and your digestive system. And the body and so that's what's driving all these toxins that are not being eliminated. They're being accumulated, and they're accumulating in these pockets. And so when you clear the liver, clear the digestion, everything in the body works, and then the cysts go away, literally.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you work with clients who have PCOS commonly.
All sorts of clients. This is like 2 decades into it. We're 22 years. So I've seen tens of thousands of.
I say that we work with clients, everything from A to W, A to Z or Z, right?
Oh, that's amazing. So there's nothing you haven't seen.
Well, probably.
It probably
I mean,
is.
but bring it on. Ask the question. We've seen a lot. I've actually, I remember a time when I had an in-person clinic. This online piece was only after we needed to pivot from the pandemic, but I had like an in-person clinic for 20 years. And I actually did home visits. I remember going to like paraplegics and working with them and getting them healthy with liquid nutrition. So I've seen a lot. Yeah. And it was like so fulfilling. I even remember his name. His name was Corey. Oh, he was a really good guy. But yeah, I mean, I've seen lots. Yeah.
That's incredible. So if somebody is suffering with PCOS or ovarian cysts, how do you begin? What would be the first step that they should take?
Well, the first step is, collecting the information. So it's like, hey, let's have a conversation. Where are you at? Where do you want to be? And then we help them with the next right step. And so we help them, with what we see without diving into the data. We can actually just help them with the next right step by just asking them, what are they eating? How are you living? How are you exercising? Just by asking those questions, I could identify kind of a few tweaks for them to move ahead. But if they want to dive in deeper and really fix the problem, then what I do is I'm a clinician, so I collect all the data. So what that means is there's the client health history. So the health history tells me a lot. It tells me actually how deep the toxins are sitting, whether they're in the nucleus, outside the nucleus, outside the cell membrane, like how deep are they? And once I discover that, then see, I'm also skilled at intracellular detox. And so if we're talking about a liver and a gut, supplements aren't going to go in. No, we need to clear away the toxicity that's driving the issue. And that's what I do. And so these kind of things. So it's very, very tailored. But when you pull all the missing pieces together into one easy plan, it just works.
And a lot of time people get stuck. They go to the traditional medical way, which is great to get that as a diagnosis, and then to go elsewhere to find out additional information, because you don't want to just necessarily be cutting something out or burning it out or giving medication for it when there is an alternative route that's less invasive, right?
But also, I have to just make another point here. If we're just cutting it out, you're not actually listening to your body. The body doesn't want to cut out. Oh, sure, maybe, but what's going on? Like your body's talking to you, and that is your precious God's beautiful body. We want to take care of this thing. And there's people that could help you, because once you actually work on this root cause piece, then it's like everything works. That's just an outward sign. There's so many other things simmering you don't even know. One would be cancer. Heart disease, 95% of it can be, is preventable. And for women, that's the number one killer. So we have to think now.
When you were listing the things that you would look at first as far as addressing the root cause, you said diet first. How important is diet to our overall health?
Oh, you're made of the tissues you eat. Just think about this. You're walking around as a human being and you're eating stuff from the outside world you're putting that into substance like into your body. Okay. And so you want to, every time you do that, you're sending a signal. What does that mean to the body? Oh, the body has to do something with what you put in. When you know what you're doing, then you're tailoring to the food to what you want the body to do. And so primarily for women, it's typically burn fat, build muscle, look and feel 10 years younger. And also remove this PCOS piece, because really the food is going to either drive it or not drive it. Literally, it's that.
Food is information, Jessica. So the other big piece is environmental toxins that we take a look at as well. What are you exposed to on a daily basis, or what have you been exposed to maybe in your earlier days, in your childhood, or wherever you happen to be sitting in life?
Yes. You mentioned burning fat and looking younger. So I'm wondering, for the listeners, what are some metabolism boosting tips that I know that you share?
Well, there's three. I'd say the three top levers would be, number one, make sure you hit your protein target. Because when you do, you're actually boosting the metabolism. When you boost the metabolism, you just automatically burn fat. So we don't even go after the fat, we go after boosting the metabolism. How are you going to do that? You need to eat protein. Protein stimulates a hormone called glucagon. It actually helps to burn fat, but it builds muscle. You can do both at the same time, contrary to what people may think. You can. And so
really, okay. Can we talk more about that?
Oh yeah. That's what so yes. So a client comes to us. It's like, do you want to burn fat? Do you want to build muscle? What do you want to do? We can do both. Yes.
And just, again, think everything from our hair to our toes is protein. Our hair, our toenails, everything in between is protein, including all of our hormones. They're all made from protein.
Yeah. And so what we're talking about is boosting the metabolism, and the building block for that is not carbs. It's not fat. It's not alcohol. You can have a little bit, it's fun. Call it vitamin W. And yes, women can have that, depending. But anyways, so protein, you need to hit that protein target. So that's one of the first things I do with my clients when it comes to their eating plan is I'm listening to what they're eating. And that would be one tweak is let's do this. That's one out of three.
Do you mind sharing the other two?
I'm waiting for you to ask.
Sure. So protein, make that. And then the second one is resistance training. Okay. So we need to send the signal in whatever that is, like just doing exercise that tells the body to build more muscle tissue. And again, you've got the protein to build the muscle, but then you need to send the stimulus, and that's resistance training. So anybody listening to this, please, if you can just take one thing out of this, to be able to burn fat, it's not about running and doing all this cardio and trying to burn off your last meal, whatever, and trying to like knuckle fist your way to burning fat by running that you don't like. That is the opposite to what we need to do. We actually need to go to some kind of exercise and tell the body to build muscle. And so that's the programs that we have provide for our clients is we have, they're based on your lifestyle. Like you don't have to hit a gym, or you could hit a gym. You could do it at home. You could do it at a gym. You could do it at a yoga class, whatever. It's just sending the signal to build muscle. So you send the signal, you eat the protein. Those are the two. And then there's three.
If you think about it with this cardiovascular idea, the idea that you're running on a treadmill or going out for a run in the effort to burn all these calories, you might burn somewhere between 100 to 300 calories. But then you go home, you have a half a bagel or a half a bag of chips, and it's all back on again, right? So it really negated that whole effort. It's really about building muscle that will keep you burning fat even while you're sleeping.
So even like if you don't eat that kind of food, but you're trying to eat like the healthy foods, like the salads that we're hearing about, wouldn't it be great to like burn fat for 23 hours instead of just the one? And that's exactly what eating protein and going to the gym does. It raises the metabolism so that when you are at rest, you're burning more calories for those 23 hours.
Okay, so we have protein intake and we have strength training.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah, we need to prioritize our sleep. And this is the other piece is why are we forgetting about this? We think it's a waste of time. It's actually not super critical. And the reason for that is plenty. First of all, during the day, like you're eating, you're training, all that, you're breaking your muscle tissue down by doing those things. But at night is when that's called catabolic. And then the body makes a switch into anabolic, which is building muscle. That's when you build muscle when you sleep. And so if you're not sleeping properly, you're not really fully optimizing even the diet and the exercise, because the body isn't repairing. And if it's not repairing, then you're not really building that muscle to your best ability. And then you wake up, and the other piece is if you're not getting good sleep, are you motivated to go to the gym? Are you motivated to eat like healthy? Most times, I don't know about you, but a lot of our clients that come to us that are struggling, it's like, I'm not motivated to go to the gym. I'm not motivated to eat. I just want to grab like that. I have that sweet tooth, and it just makes me so hard to get to the gym. So what we do is if our clients are not sleeping properly, then what we do is that's one of the major levers that we start with. Okay. Because that's all about the hormones too. Right. It's called beauty sleep for a reason.
Yes. Okay. I want to go back to the liver and the gut for a moment and ask if those things have any effect on these 3 metabolism boosting tips. So let's say someone is having issues with their liver or their gut. Does that mean they need to not focus on protein, or they need to back off of the strength training at all while they heal that? Or can they do all of it at the same time?
Yeah, I love that question. Eating protein and resistance training actually supports that if you do it properly. One example would be this. If you overtrain, you're going to disrupt the gut because it's too stressful and it leads to leaky gut. So you need to do the right type of training for you. And what that means is just enough. You've done just enough to feel, yeah, I've got energy for the rest of the day. But if you train and you're tired for the rest of the day, you went too far, or it's the wrong kind of training, and that will disrupt the gut. So just the exercise alone will disrupt the gut. Okay. So that's that one piece. When it comes to protein, your organs and your gut are made of, that's the building block. So we're always going to want to target protein. There's the quality that matters though, too. So here we're talking about quantity, eat your protein. Yeah, but that's the quality. And there's one amino acid that's really critical to muscle building, not muscle building, toning, whatever, just getting that nice shape. There's one amino acid that's actually one of the most important to hit every day so that you get better results.
And what is that?
It's called leucine.
Lucy?
Yeah. So leucine, there's 9 essential amino acids. There's one that's really important to hit the right target to then send the stimulus, muscle protein synthesis. You want to make sure that you hit that with that one amino acid. Yeah.
Are there specific foods where you can find leucine, where you can only find leucine?
Yeah. So it's not singular. It's like, yes, it would be animal protein. So here's the thing. I know that there's this big push with this plant-based protein. What is that? What's behind that? Let's look behind the veil. What is all that? What's behind all this push about plant-based? I'm sorry, but is it working? No. 75% of the population is obese or overweight. Is it working? No, it's not. And so there's this narrative that look behind what's behind that. So look at our hunters and gatherers. Were they just eating plants? No, they were strong and fit and they were warriors. What were they eating? Their natural diet. So we need to get back into this natural diet piece and look at the truth.
You're speaking to an ex-vegan, so I hear
Oh,
you.
We saw the smile. We saw the smile and wondered why.
I'm just speaking the truth. And if there's vegans that come to us and they still want to be vegan, you can still do that.
Yep.
It's which
we have vegan clients.
and they've done very well. They actually built muscle. But I turned things. She was a chef. So she's like, my next cookbook, I'm going to use your principles and and I said, great. Now you can be a healthy vegan.
And teach
Oh,
others.
that's amazing.
Oh, yes.
So then what about the amino acids? Does she supplement?
Yeah. So, and again, this is the other piece. So many think, yeah, I'll just do the branched chain amino acids, those 3 amino acids. No, we want the 9 essential amino acids because the branched chain amino acids aren't enough and they actually can stimulate too much insulin can then instill a fat storing response. We don't want fat storing. We want fat burning. And so that's when we want the 9 essential amino acids, which include the leucine. That's one piece for these vegans that we need to really target. Remember, target your protein. You need to eat enough protein.
Yes, and not only that, but what else when it comes to the vegan diet? Because I know overall we probably want to avoid all processed foods.
Yes. Like, here's the other piece. Are we forgetting, like, we're human beings? We are not like a toaster oven or like something artificial. And this is the other piece is when clients come to me, I go, hey, tell me what you eat. And then they share what they're eating and I just listen. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's artificial food. That's why you feel artificial. How about like human diet? And then what we do is we do instead of. So I coined it instead of, if they like chips that are processed, we're going to move into this instead, yam fries that are baked that taste even better. And then that's the first step really is these ultra processed foods are also dysregulating our appetite. Why can't I stop eating? Why am I hungry all the time? Well, because the chemicals are driving that. And so if you just get back into like real whole foods, that's your first real good step with a good protein target.
Yes, because the processed foods are lacking the nutrients that the body's craving, right? So it's like we keep eating, but we're not actually satisfied because we're not getting the nutrients that we need.
And they're designed that way by food scientists that are very, very smart and hired by the companies. And they put chemicals into the foods that make us desire them more frequently and in larger quantities. And so we're eating larger quantities of processed foods. Michelle was talking a little bit earlier about leaky gut. And some people may know already, but for those that don't, that's where the junctures of the intestinal tract open up and they let undigested proteins pass through from the intestinal tract into the bloodstream. So if you're eating chicken protein or bean protein and the junctures open up and Jessica's body goes, Jessica, that's not Jessica coming through those little windows in there. That's a bean protein or a chicken protein. It will set up what's called an autoimmune response where your body starts to attack itself. And so we end up with Hashimoto's, we end up with eczema, psoriasis, allergies, all kinds of different things that are responses from the body to get rid of those proteins that are unrecognizable.
The other step to this is I'm going to take it one step further. We think that, okay, I know that this isn't healthy food. I'm going to eat these, ultra processed foods. You eat them, there's no nutrients in there, but guess what else? You're drawing on your own nutrients to try and break that down. You're double inflaming. And so you wonder like, why this and that? Well, that's like a double whammy. And so, and you know what, if you're watching this and you're doing that and you may go, oh my God, it's doom and gloom. Actually, you know what? It's so easy to just like take that next step. And all you do is you find someone who's already doing that and you'll shortcut your way. But really, once you start eating real food, your cells go, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. Thank you so much. This is food that I actually do something with and give you the energy and give you the shape that you want, give you the mood that you want, give you that like you want to take on the day and go, wow, like I've always wanted to do this. Now you go after your dream life because you're motivated. And that has to do, food matters. Yes.
Sticking on the same topic, how do you help people with health conditions adapt their diet and fitness plans so that they feel safe and that they still see results?
Wow, feel safe. Well, they have us as coaches. And so here's the other piece is if they've done it, I've probably done it even worse. So here's the thing. I've not always been fit and healthy. I had to go through my own health journey. I reversed my own accelerated aging disease called osteoporosis because I had anorexia when I was younger. I had an eating disorder. And so I starved myself to lose weight, but I also lost my bone mass. And that was super frightening. And so what I did was I started following what was touted as healthy out in the mainstream media, and I got worse. And so that's a double, oh my gosh, I thought I was doing everything right and I'm worse. I'm putting all this effort and I'm worse. My hair is falling out and I have no energy. I was at my wit's end.
Have your low fat this, have your low fat that, eat margarine.
All artificial. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just follow that because I just want to get healthy. I didn't. And so then what happened was things turned around. I finally figured it out. There was this one day when it was almost like it was like this divine intervention. I remember exactly where I was. And then when I discovered this one magazine that turned everything around for me, thank goodness for that magazine and that I saw it and I started reading it because from that point on, everything turned around. I reversed my eating disorder, which can be very difficult, like this relationship with food. I'm afraid to eat to gain weight. And then reversed my osteoporosis, all natural, no medication, even though the doctor said you couldn't do that. I did.
And it wasn't the book that did it. It was the light that got turned on with the idea that was in the book
Good point.
that opened her eyes to, let's get some more education around this, because going to mainstream medical doctors, she was just told, take this medication to build your bones, which in reality, it actually breaks down your bones.
It does.
In the long term. And so she started this exploration and got into all kinds of different natural health methods that over the 22 years, we've been able to help thousands and thousands of people get their health back.
Wow. Okay. And so at what age did you have osteoporosis?
32.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. I did read that at 16 is when the eating disorder began, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this one comment just turned it all around. Like, I guess it was a meant to be, because I wouldn't have to go through all this suffering for, I think I was just chosen to just go through this suffering to then be able to like
Help
heal
others.
it and then help other. I already know, because why else?
Yeah.
And yes, yeah. That's when you're impressionable. That's why it's like, oh my gosh, any 16-year-olds or like mothers with daughters,
Yeah.
they're precious. They're like sponges. You got to be careful with, I mean, we don't have daughters, we have
Two
sons,
boys.
which is great. But they're so impressionable. And I think we're chasing quite often, like if you're not slim enough, if you're not, beautiful enough, you're nothing. That is so wrong. It's just like the wrong message. Like, let's find the inner beauty inside of you, and everyone is special, and you have special gifts, and let's explore that, because that's why you're here, and live, and then you can live a life that you never have to retire from. It's just like a life that you just love.
Yes. It's about how you feel.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh, that's an amazing story. I mean, obviously you turned your pain into purpose, which is just beautiful. What about you, Rheece? Did you have a similar rocky road when you were younger?
I didn't. I started off at a very young age, kind of a weird journey. I was 11 years old and started to get into yoga. I'm currently 71 years old. So it was a long time ago.
At 11 years old, you got into yoga.
Got into yoga. I got into hypnosis. I got into all kinds of interesting things, esoteric things, learning more about all the religions in the world. Because I had a lot of questions as a young man about, what am I here for? What is this all about? What's my purpose in life, right? And so I started just to explore those things, deep breathing, and yeah, all the cool stuff that's out now.
Michelle, don't you feel that because of what you went through, you were so low that then you were able to also see the other end, and you were able to experience the highs as far as life is? It's like the lower that you can go of the depths, then you get to see the opposite side of that.
Yeah, and that was my driver. And also getting like circling back to how do you help clients feel safe? Well, I've been there. And once people know who we are, like we are who we are. Like this is how we live. Like there's no veil here. We're talking as we would talk to anybody. Like there's no screen, or there's no nothing. This is like the real deal. And so it's really about connecting to the individual, finding them where they're at, and then gently moving them. I'm a guide. Find out where you're at. I'm your guide to move you into your potential and remind you of who you really are, who you want to be. And this is where we sit all the time. My clients come to me, they're living in their past. But if they stay in their past, they'll never get to who they're meant to be. And so we can rewrite the story, which is what I did, because I had quite a traumatic story, like upbringing. Had some good things, but some not so good things. I had to rewrite it for it to be more powerful, to ignite this new who I want to be. And so I live in here, and literally I wake up and I only see this. And if I move into the past, I go, oh, that's a story. That's not empowering me. Thank you very much. I'm going to go. This is where I am. It's like I play here. It's like I put on, what I do is I actually just put on a different set of glasses. And these are the ones that, like, this is the world I want to see. And I just live this way. And this is how I teach my clients.
That is so important. That message right there. I can't tell you how long I spent romanticizing the good things of the past, but it was really traumatic for me as well. And I would live there. And then it got to the point where it's like, that's not serving me to think about that, because you think about it and then you put yourself back in that position in your mind. And it's like, you're not that person anymore. So you can't become the person that you want to step into while you still have one foot in your past.
Well said.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yes, Jessica.
So going back to burning fat and metabolism, which I don't know why I keep trying to say that word when it's obviously difficult for me, but what exercises burn the most fat but are also gentle on the joints?
So we're going to want to go to the gym not thinking that we're burning fat. This is the number one. So much of with her, okay, when we work with our clients, first of all, we reframe how they see things to be more powerful. Because if we're always just, oh, why isn't the fat burning? Why do we focus on something we don't want? Why don't we focus on what we do want? And so here's what we do. So with our clients, we reframe why they go to the gym. If you're going to the gym to get healthy, healthy bodies are strong. Humans are supposed to be strong. That's why we have the ability to make muscle. Okay. And so you're going to the gym, not to burn fat. You're going to the gym to be healthy. And the side effect that is you're going to look sexy because muscle is sexy. Slim is not sexy. Muscle tone is sexy. So you're going there to get healthy. And then the side effect is I feel better. I feel sexy. I look sexy. And oh my gosh, I'm not worried about it, but why? The belly fat's going away. Because you're building the muscle, and that's the focus. Your focus is on building muscle. And there are exercises that are really important to do that you would start with. Again, it's very individualized, but we have for sure some frameworks. Absolutely.
Okay, we did talk about menopause and periods for women. Do you need to treat that any differently as far as their routines and their diet and their exercise when they are in these different stages of life?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Here's a bit of a nuance here to these exercise pieces. So if you're a menstruating woman and you're in like day 1 to day 14, which is the estrogenic phase, that's when estrogen's really, you're producing more of that than you are progesterone. That's the time to lift heavier. That's the time to go.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So take advantage of that 2-week period from the bleeding time to the 14 days estrogen. You're going to see better results if you train harder. And then once you hit the ovulation piece, then you can start to back it off a bit because that's when progesterone starts to rise. For menopause, menopausal women, if you're listening to me, I'm saying this because I love you. You're like a guy. Sorry. You don't menstruate. So you have to train. You need to train like a male. And nothing wrong with that. Males have good strength. Just think of you're going to the gym and lifting with your best movement. It's the movement. Get the movement right.
No ego involved.
No. So just always, it's so much about the mindset. You're going in to be healthy and you're practicing a movement to your best ability. And then you go tell you I don't like failure. I never liked that word. I don't like going to failure. We have to find a different term. Going till
Completion.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're sending the signal to make more muscle. The body adapt. That's what adaptation is. The body's adapting to what you're doing. So if you're sitting in front of your computer all day under artificial light, your body's adapting to that, and you will see that. But if somebody goes to the gym, maybe they walk in the sunlight and they go to the gym and they train till their best training, and then they come back, they look like they've done that too. So there you go.
I did start my own weight training journey, and I was counting calories, which we haven't gotten into yet if you are a fan of that, but I was weighing all of my food and lifting weights, which normally I was more of a yoga Pilates person. But as I got into the weights, the ego thing came in. So, but it wasn't other people. It was just me wanting to make my numbers higher each time. Like I wanted to progress every single time I went in the gym with my weights. But it ended up with gut issues, with my body feeling more like worn out. Like I didn't feel energized and good after a workout. So I was pushing myself too hard. So I was having trouble finding like that balance. And like you said, pushing to completion. I was also not sure, because in my mind, I always think I can do more, do better. And it, like that not enough thing. So
Right.
it was kind of not working so well for me. So I did go back to more lighter weights and strength training with like bar and Pilates, which I think my body likes more. But if I'm sure you had clients that were like me, what would you have told me in that position?
A couple of things is I always think about what are you eating? Because it's your training, but how are you recovering? So if you want to like train harder, you need to really think about your dialing in your nutrition and also the recovery piece. That's where the protein and the sleep comes in. So it's like you probably would be able to do that if you dialed in the nutrition and the sleep. Now it's like, wow, I got all this, like, I'm so toned so quickly. Yeah, because you're covering all the bases. That would be my first thing is what were you eating at that time when you didn't feel like you weren't recovering quick enough? You were breaking down more than you're building up.
The other thing that
Mm.
happens when I was speaking of ego, I was specifically meaning that sometimes, more so for men than women, we use poor form to try and lift a weight that we shouldn't be lifting.
Yeah.
And consequently, the other thing that happens is sometimes we think if a little bit is good, then a lot has to be better, right? I'm going to be doing 2 sets of something, and you know what? I feel really, really good. I think I'm going to be doing 10 or 12 sets. Well, then we end up adding stress to not only the joints and the muscles of the body, but also the gut, right? And so the gut affects the brain, affects the heart, affects everything else.
Yep.
And so it's kind of cascades down from there. So we do, again, you'd look for somebody that has been where you want to go and have them as your mentors or guides or however or coach, however you'd like to express it. But that's the idea of having a good personal trainer, which we also do in our program.
Yeah.
To be able to guide people. So when we're teaching clients remotely, I have 2 laptops. One I'm chatting through them with Zoom, and the other one we're looking at the program. And then I'll watch their form right online while they're doing it to make sure that they're keeping proper alignment, that one shoulder's not up and the other one's down, that they're breathing properly, that they're having proper form, and that they're going to put enough effort in, but not too much effort that it's going to hurt them in some capacity.
Yep.
Yeah, if there's one thing I know, it's that my nutrition is on point. However, the sleep could have been a factor because I know stress was a factor for a lot of those times.
Right.
What habits do your most successful clients have in common?
I know one.
Go.
Okay.
Let it rip.
My turn. So it's always, so yeah, so we actually, when we start our clients, after we've done the assessment, we find out like what's going on in their bodies. And this is actually the real reason why you're feeling the way you are and why you're stuck is because of this issue. And so the whole program is designed to like start to heal what needs to be healed. But it's all, so then we create the program, but it's like, here's the daily routine. We're going to plug and play to heal this. We're going to plug and play in your daily routine. This is how we're going to eat and when. This is when we're going to exercise. So they have like an actual schedule. So there's no mental fatigue. It's like, this is what I do and when. So the daily routine would be one habit that my clients are following so that it's like their schedule, their daily schedule, and they plug and play. If you're a woman and you're like me, just like go, 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 go. Like the rushing woman syndrome, that would be, I am a candidate for that. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. It's like, I just want to get it all done. And then they kind of forget about this eating piece. But anyways, so women like us, we need to guard our eating time and our exercise time and our outside time, right? And so that's what goes in the schedule. And so that way you feel more, you've got a lot going on, but you're more balanced because of the daily routine. So the daily routine would be number one good habit is getting into your regular schedule. And yeah, you can be thrown off a few times, but it's like, oh, I'm thrown off. That's okay. I have my schedule. I'll just go back on. They know exactly what to do. Because if you don't know what to do, that's a problem. But if you do know what to do, that's great. So that's the first piece. The second piece is yeah, the bookends. So the second piece is they hit their protein target. And so the goal is to, because they're so used to eating, they think they're eating healthy, like, yeah, healthy foods, but there's not enough of what is going to move the dial, which is enough protein. So everything can work. And so what we do is we make sure that we do track, because quite often we say, yeah, I'm eating enough protein. And then we track it to actually make sure. That's the other piece is we do tracking. Yes. And so quite often we go, oh, they go, I had no idea I wasn't eating very much protein at all. And then, but we know because we're tracking. And so that's the other piece is this protein piece. That's a very, very important habit. And then I'd say the third one is stop beating yourself up.
Mhm.
And it's like we speak so much about what are you saying to yourself?
It's
What are you saying? Like, because when we have these calls, again, I'm the guide and Rheece is the guide. We listen to how they're speaking. And if it's not empowering, I go and I gently, because I used to be like that. What about what if this? What about this? And then they start to speak more empowering messages, and then that's who they are. So that, yeah.
often, if we believe that women are primarily the nurturers and men are primarily the protectors, we want to make sure as women that you are nurturing yourself, taking time for yourself first. It's just like when you're in the airplane and the mask falls down, you put your ears on first before you take care of anybody else. And for the protectors, if we believe men are primarily the protectors, then protect yourself first before you start to take care of others.
I have a question that I will actually want an answer from both of you on, but before I ask it, was there anything that we have not gone over yet that you wanted to share?
Yeah, we have just like tapping in. So here's my biggest message to everyone that's watching this.
Or listening.
Yeah, or listening. Yeah. Okay. So my biggest message to everyone today is take a step back from everything, get into nature, and just kind of just sit and just listen to, get to know who you are. Listen to the messages. Your intuition is always right. The messages are always right, but we quite often don't take a step back and just listen to them. Because we're this rushing women's syndrome, this like we're rushing around, this I have to do this. What about just being? And so messages come, and if you can just listen to that, it's the right message for the right time. And I really believe that is your first real step.
Beautifully said. My final question I ask everybody at the end, what is your number one health tip? Whether it's diet, mindset, nutrition, physical, emotional, just the one piece of advice that you would like everyone to know.
Everything starts in the mind. Everything is created in the mind. And so we have to be aware of the thoughts that we're thinking that translate into the words that we're projecting out into the world, and enjoy life.
And then the actions come from that.
Yeah.
So the actions come from your thoughts. So we've got to get
beliefs, actions.
Yeah. So and this is where I'm really finding a lot of success, more success, because there's always more. We're students of life, like never stop learning. We're students of life. Just be curious about everything. And if you think you're right, maybe find someone to help you, like find a different perspective. Never shut the doors. Okay. What I'm finding in today's world, again, this is not like 50 years ago. This is like a new way for a new world. We've had so much trauma. And you know what? It's not even yours. Some of it's the ancestral. You think it's you, it's not. Stuff gets passed on generations and generations. Okay. And you're hanging on to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so when clients come to me, I look at them like wounded animals, and there's no offense to that, but it's like, I'm finding you in the wild, you're a wounded animal. I bring you in and I nurture you and I show you how to get yourself back into health and put you back into the wild. That's how I see myself. And, so with that, we want to reframe this trauma into something that was a reason for you to learn something, to move on from that, and then move here. This is where we need to sit, is who you want to be. And even if you kind of don't believe it, just believe it. Why not? Why not? Like, because as a kid, you were told you can't do that. You can do anything. And so start to dream bigger than what you're thinking now. Like, this is how we got into Mexico, living our dream life. Literally, this is our dream life. And our kids are amazing. They're our best friends, and they're 22 and 18. We are so living our dream life. And so we want this upon everybody. Is it possible? Yes, anything's possible.
I love that message. And this whole time, I can just feel how powerful your energy is through the screen. It's incredible. Thank you both so much. Where can people find more from you?
Okay, we have a free community because we actually want to just give back. And those that, so we're showing, so, and it's the fit and healthy community. So what we're doing is we want to see a world with more fit and healthy people. Because when we walk around, I get sad for the kids. It's not the kids' fault. It's not even the parents' fault. They're marketed the wrong information. And so if I can make an impact with this right information, which is, remember, you're a human being. You're not artificial, and we need to start moving you into a natural way of living. Okay, because your body will respond quickly. So we have a community that we have. It's called the Fit and Healthy Community, and it's got meal plans. It's got nutrition advice. It's got fitness. It's got weight loss for sure. We're so into burning fat, building muscle, looking and feeling 10 years younger, while you still can have your wine. Come on. And your still favorite foods. We're not living in food prison. Let's go. This is freedom. And so we have this community that we have available. We can send you the link, but we also have a giveaway as well in this community. So everyone that comes in, we give away our 7-day plan, which is a 7-day rapid weight loss. So if you're someone here struggling with these extra 5, 10, 20, 80, 100 pounds, we're going to show you a way to actually learn the principles to burn fat, build muscle, look and feel 10 years younger. And it doesn't include starving. It includes foods that you actually love.
Yeah.
So that's what we have available, because we actually want to change. We want to make an impact in the world, and we are. And thank you so much, Jessica.
Thank you
for allowing us to share this. Because of you, we're able to share this message.
Thank you so much for coming on. I love the message. I love the energy. You both are just beautiful inside and out. So I really appreciate you coming on. Check out the description, find more from Michale and Rheece, and have a beautiful day.